Alright, hey, what is up? We have a pretty special video for you today. Well, in my opinion it is, because what I have here is what I consider to be a Grail figure for my collection. Now, what is a Grail figure? I feel like people use that term a bit too loosely lately, but to me, there's like three things that define it. One, it needs to be kind of hard to find. I think that goes without saying, but if you can go buy your figure anywhere without much trouble of looking for it, it shouldn't really be considered a Grail. It should probably also be expensive, but maybe not necessarily. The hunt is more important than the price tag. Two, it should be kind of old. I feel like if a figure is too recent, then it really shouldn't count as a Grail. Unless you're a really new collector, then that's fine. But for me, who's been collecting for over a decade, it has to be at least somewhat old. And three, which is the most important thing in my opinion, it has to be something special to you. It needs to have like sentimental value, something that you feel like your collection cannot be without. If it's not sentimental, if it doesn't mean anything to you, then why is it a Grail, right? Because there are other old figures, there's other expensive figures, there's hard to find figures, but if they don't mean anything to you, then they shouldn't really qualify as a Grail. There's plenty of cool stuff out there that I don't have, but they're not going to be Grails to me. What I have in here, I think qualifies for all three. So before I get into any more details, how about we open it up and see what's inside, all right? So I bought this off of MFC. The seller was very nice. I actually had to buy it through eBay. They just kind of preferred it that way. But we worked out a deal. I paid about double of its price. This figure came out in 2014 and retailed for about 9,800 yen. Nowadays, it costs closer to like $300, so I think for about 175, which was what I paid, I did pretty good. But yeah, it's hard to find in like America. You have to buy it through like Japan or Europe for some reason. I'm opening it upside down because all the information from like the shipping is on the bottom, so this is a little more awkward. I'm just gonna jump cut until this is open. All right. Jesus, opening it from the bottom is kind of hard. There's a big tape there. All right, let's see. So, 2014. Made by Alter, video game related. Can you guess what it is before I take it out? Well, it's bubble wrapped. You might not be able to see it right away. Awkwardly take out of box. Anyway, all right, here we go. All right. Oh, shit. This makes me kind of happy. So, it's Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia. I don't know how many of you care about this, but to me, this is pretty special. So, you know, it came from Europe. Really is no damage to the box. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty nice on the inside too. We're gonna open it up in a second, but let me just place it down real quick for now and just talk about it real quick. So why did I care about this? Well, the game came out in around 2004. I was 12, I think, at that point, and the lead up to this game was very exciting to me. I didn't really play a lot of RPGs. All I grew up with was Paper Mario, Pokemon, and like Dragon Quest Monsters 2, which is a great game. All those games are great, but shout out to Dragon Quest Monsters 2. Anyway, and you know, anime stuff was cool, but I didn't really know too much about anime at that age. Like Fooly Cooly, Yu Yu Hakusho, that stuff was cool, but you know, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, all that stuff is cool, but I didn't really connect that as being something from like a whole nother country. But when this game was coming out, and I read about it in Nintendo Power, I was really excited. I remember getting the issue of Nintendo Power and reading it non-stop. I have a really vivid memory of reading it at my grandma's house because there was nothing to do if I didn't want to play a video game on my Game Boy. And I just kept reading it like over and over and over. And you know what's funny? I actually have the magazine right here. This is the same issue with my old address, which I'll probably blur out just so I don't harass the people who live here right now. But it's really cool that I actually found this. This is completely beaten to shit. The whole cover is like starting to fall off and is ripped, which I guess goes to show you how much I actually read this one. And I'll zoom in so you could see this a little bit better. But it wasn't even that much. There's a couple of pages on this game and just some like nice artwork and they just kind of go over the details of the game and just what is cool about it, what you could expect from it. It was just exciting, but to me, that's all you needed. Nintendo Power was super hype. Let's actually open this figure up. I've been rambling on and on and on about it. It is open. This is a used figure, but that's completely fine. I don't think you should expect to buy like completely new things that are, what, 8 years old at this point. And it's better if you open figures. You know, figures can get very sticky if you don't take them out of the box because of the way the plastic works. But he's not going to be too hard to assemble, I believe. And he doesn't seem to be damaged in any way, so that's good. Let me take him out. He has some tape on the sides. I think the seller actually like retaped him, which was nice of them. I appreciate that. There's actually more tape on the top. Can't miss any tape. But, yeah, okay, well. He's, you know, you gotta assemble his swords, but seems like a very simple way to put them together. The base looks pretty nicely detailed. I mean, it sort of looks like someone stepped on a candy bar or something worse, but I mean, he's standing on a mountaintop or whatever, and there's a lot of different shades of brown. Plus, I think the color looks pretty nice against the red and, like, the navy blue. Kinda gotta be a little careful with plastic pegs, especially, like, when they're older. You don't want to snap the pegs. That would probably be the worst thing that you could do to a figure, because you're not gonna fix it very easily. Yeah, he looks pretty freaking good. I don't really see any, like, paint flaws or, like, marks from age, because it was used. He looks pretty flawless, and it's that alter quality you come to know and love. So, I mean, he looks great, right? I think he looks great. Very, very clean paint. Pretty much, like, without flaw. I'm pretty impressed in these little dangly bits, which I don't want to mess around with. Are those ribbons? I mean, it's just like his collar, right? I don't know specifically what that's supposed to be, but it's cool. It looks cool. Yeah, alright, let me put on the swords. So he comes with 2 swords, which was the coolest thing playing this game. I always picked Lloyd, but the cool thing about this game is that it was multiplayer, so you could play it with friends or family, and that's what I did. I played it with both of my brothers. I have a younger brother and an older brother. My younger brother must have been like, he was 4 years younger than me, so if I was 12, he was 8, and he would just play as Genus, which was the little magic kid, and he had a blast, right? Like, he just loved throwing magic fireballs and shit, and helping the team out. And my brother would always play as Kratos, or is it Kratos? I think it's Kratos, but I've always said Kratos because I'm an American kid. And spoilers, I'm gonna spoil something right now. He leaves the party at some point, and then you have to play as Zelos, so he wouldn't really want to play as Zelos. That's just another memory I have of the game. Like, not only did I love playing it, but I also got to, you know, appreciate it with my brothers, which was, you know, stuff. Played like Mario Party and Mario Kart together, but never like something that big and grand. And like, for them to sit with me and play that the whole time was pretty surprising. So we have instructions here, but I think it's fairly simple. You could kind of tell just by looking at like the sheets which side they go on, because they're only gonna slot in on one side of it, and it seems like you just wiggle it in. I'm not gonna put too much pressure on it because I don't want to mess it up, but I think it'll be fine. And then he has 2 swords, but one of them has like the bottom unattached, so I probably have to pay attention to that. It seems like they can both be detached though, so they're exactly the same. I guess it's just a matter of like how you want to put them together. I don't know if it matters which one goes where. Yeah, we just gotta make sure we line them up correctly. They actually slide in extremely smoothly. I'm really tired of figures that just don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's really common for figures to have to like kind of jam the weapon in. You're gonna mess it up a little bit because the hand is so tight, and then there's paint transfer, but these kind of just slide in perfectly. And the instructions even tell me which way I'm supposed to slide it in, just to make sure the blade is on the right side. That's very nice of them in case I made a goof. I think that's it, right? It doesn't really come with anything else. So we have the final product right here. I'm gonna move the plastic out of the way. Yeah, he looks awesome. I guess he takes up slightly more room than you think. He's only a 1/8 scale. He has a bit more of a width to him because of his stance, and I guess the swords, I don't know, it looks good. I think this looks great. It's really smooth on the bottom too, which I like, but that's not really a detail that matters. I wasn't really planning to go in depth like my normal reviews, but let's run through some details really quick. Like his hair, super spiky. Love the way it was sculpted so that it's blowing to the side with the collar tassels. It matches well with his pose quite nicely, and I think they did a great job on his face. I would have preferred he looked a bit more like determined, maybe furrow his brow a bit to make it look like he's in a fight, but yeah, I still think it looks good. The EX sphere on his right hand has a really nice shade of green for the gem, and that gold paint surrounding it looks great. Really subtle detail, but the finish on his gloves and boots are just slightly different when compared to the rest of the outfit. Just the slightest hint of gloss compared to the matte finish everywhere else. Actually, that's a bit of a theme all throughout this figure. All the shiny silver from his belt buckles, the sword, the other straps along his boots, they just contrast so well against his primarily red and blue color scheme. The red is already very loud, if you know what I'm saying, but it just gets amplified by the silver. Even all these white buttons, there's no white paint bleeding off of them. Maybe they aren't painted and it's just shiny plastic. They look a bit pearlescent, but that could just be my lighting. Other than that, I already said it, but the paint application is top notch. There are tons of folds and creases all throughout his outfit, and the way Alter shaded each of these areas, well, I couldn't have really asked for a better job. Like, there's no flaw. I don't see any issues with the paint. Alter's always been good, but it's nice to know that even 8 years ago, they were kind of just delivering the same quality that you know now. And I kind of wish they made more of the Tales of Symphonia figures. They only made Lloyd and Zelos, and I don't really care about Zelos. If they made a Sheena, I'd buy that right away. If they made a Kratos, I'd buy that right away as well. Kotobukiya made a Colette, and I would love to buy that, but that's another hunt. That one's also a little hard to find. And I don't think I'd want to pay as much as I did for Lloyd, but we'll see. That's something for the future. Really quick, I want to know if they fit in the sheath. Like, actually, I feel like they don't, but I'm going to try it real quick. Yeah, okay, so they don't go in the sheath, which is fine, but at least they made sure that they weren't just filled in with plastic. They actually hollowed out the sheath, just so you can actually, like, tell that a sword's supposed to go in there. I hate when they kind of cheap out on that, so it's nice that they actually paid attention to the sheath. You know, this game really was something special. I've played this 5 or 6 times at this point, and it really never got old. The combat system in this one, and I guess most Tales of games, but, you know, specifically this one for me because it was my first, was just so fun. The fact that it was an RPG, but you had to just, like, go in and beat the shit out of stuff like real time was so cool. It made, like, all the battles that much more exciting. The music was so freaking good. The world to explore was so cool. The fact that, like, you got to a whole nother world, I think it was called, like, Tethala or something, and then the music changed, and the enemies were different. That was so mind-blowing as, like, a 12-year-old. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen in a game at that point. I just did not know games did that, so it really left a strong impression on me. I just remembered something really quick. The trailers. I don't know how I found this, but as a kid, I came across a Japanese trailer that was basically just the opening cinematic, but the song that was playing, I think it was Starry Heavens. It was a vocal track with Japanese lyrics, and I remember rewatching this trailer nonstop. The 2D animation was kind of unlike anything I really saw in a video game before that, and the song was extremely catchy. I didn't really listen to Japanese music like that before, so I genuinely think that was like a weeb-defining moment for me. I don't know, it's just kind of funny to think about it, but it definitely changed me a little bit. And that's why I wanted to get Lloyd, and, you know, now I'm happy that I did, because it does feel like I finally got something that was missing. I don't really remember why I never picked this up back in the day. It must have just been like a monetary thing. I didn't have the money, I just wanted to save my money, maybe I pre-ordered too much at the time, and it felt like I didn't need this, I would pick it up later. I probably underestimated how high this would have gotten on the aftermarket. You know, I always felt dumb about it. I was just like, fuck, man, I really should have gotten that. But, you know, I made do. I got it, and it feels good. It looks perfect, and I'm going to probably display it somewhere behind me, or in the glass case over there. I don't really know yet. But, yeah, I guess that's really it. I'm very happy with this. I would consider this a Grail figure for sure. Would I recommend this? Yes, but not for $300. If you could find it for half of that, definitely. But it is one that you'll have to hunt for if you like Tales of Symphonia, but I think it's definitely worth it. But, yeah, I guess that's it. That's my Lloyd Irving video. Hopefully you found my ramblings to be entertaining in some way. I had a lot of fun making it. It was just very exciting to get something that you're really looking forward to. I'm sure that's a sentiment that a lot of you can relate to. It's just fun and exciting when you get something that you've really been waiting for. Let me know what you think about this video. If you like this figure, if you've been hunting Grails yourself, let me know what you're looking for. And, you know, feel free to like the video if you enjoyed it, as it does help me out a lot. Subscribe if you want to watch more. You know how it is. And I guess until next time, take care. See you later.